are straight. Upon doing so, inshallah, then we may sit down. When we fail to make our rows, we allow others to jump over us and disrupt us during the khutbah. So please, inshallah, move forward if there's a gap. Fill in that space so those who are coming after us will be able to accommodate themselves. Jazakumullahu khairan.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر، الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله.
الحمد لله الأكرم الذي خلق الإنسان وكرم وعلمه من البيان ما لم يعلم. فسبحان الذي لا يحصى امتنانه باللسان ولا بالقلم. نشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، ونشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا مولانا محمدا عبد الله ورسوله، بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة، فجزاه الله عنا وعن كل المسلمين خيرا. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد عبدك ورسولك النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا. أما بعد، رب يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير وبك نستعين يا فتاح. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. رب زدني علما والحقني بالصالحين. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحليم. سبحانك لا فهم لنا إلا ما فهمتنا إنك أنت الجواد الكريم. My dear respected elders, brothers and sisters and fellow children in Islam, let us be real about one thing today. My fellow Muslims, the staunch reality is that our world is one big mess. What caused it to reach this point? Well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already answered that question for us 1400 years ago. In chapter number 30, which is titled The Romans, Surah Rum, In verse number 41, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس ليذيقهم بعض الذي عملوا لعلهم يرجعون. Corruption has appeared throughout the land and the sea. Truly, if we look at the global state at this moment, you will rarely find a spot or a corner on this earth, but this verse has come to life. Corruption has appeared throughout the land and the sea by reason of what the hands of people have earned. Why did Allah allow this corruption to happen? So He may let them taste part of the consequence of what they have done, that perhaps they will return to righteousness. What is the cause of this downfall in our world today? It is the rise of actions and the fall of deeds. كسبت أيدي الناس are the actions. لعلهم يرجعون, the solution is to revive deeds once more. In today's khutbah titled غياب الأعمال في عالم ملئ بالأفعال, the absence of deeds in a world full of actions, we make this plan today to do ruju' and return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the return that Allah spoke about in this verse, which is the only solution to fix the mess that we are facing in our world today. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to open our hearts, to guide our footsteps, to rectify our deeds, to align our actions, so that we can be who He wants us to be, so that we can do away with corruption and restore goodness on this earth. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Now I want you all to keep this verse front and center today, because our entire sermon revolves around this. And there are two key words I want you to clearly understand before we do the prayer today. I talked about the rise of actions and the fall of deeds. What are deeds and what are actions? Deeds are performances that are commanded by Allah, or they are virtuous action done solely for the pleasure of Allah. You may not find a clear-cut command in the Quran telling you to do it, but the act itself is virtuous, it's good, and so long you do it solely for Allah, then it is a deed. Whereas actions are usually knee-jerk reaction to another action. Actions have direct connection with actions that precede it, while deeds have no connection with the actions that we are trying to tackle in our world today. And I'll elaborate on that. Let us begin by knowing this fact, my dear fellow Muslims, that actions have never helped those before us. Doesn't matter how logical those actions felt at that time. We turn to Imam Bukhari, who sheds light on a tradition that he has recorded. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu reports a very interesting incident that occurred in his life. That the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam put him in charge to look after the dates that were given in Ramadan as charity for the poor. There was the fitrah that was gathered. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told him, "O Abu Hurairah, you're going to watch this pile. You're going to make sure nothing happens to this pile. That's your job." So there is a deed that is coming forth. That is the command to protect it. There is a deed that is coming forth. That is the command to protect it. 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 That Now his first night, he's on guard. All of a sudden an old man appears. He walks up to the pile and he starts to take from those dates like there's no tomorrow. He doesn't care of who's watching him and what he's doing. He's just starting to take. So Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu says to him, "What are you doing?" He grabbed him and he said, "I'll take you to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam." The man cried. He said, I'm poor. Let me take some. What's wrong? It's for the poor. I'm poor. Let me just take it. So he let him go. He said, take it and go. Off you go. He was told to protect. But what he did was an action. It was an action in reaction of someone else's action. The man came, made a case, I'm poor. Why would you not feed the poor? What Islam are you practicing when you're told to feed someone and your prophet's telling you, take care of it? So he felt he did the right thing. In the morning, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked him, "Oh Abu Hurairah, what happened to your captive last night?" He said, "Ya Rasulullah, he was complaining of hunger and poverty. So I felt sorry for him, I let him go." Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, He lied to you, and he'll be back. This story is summarizing the topic of today's khutbah. Brothers and sisters, turn back to deeds and stop following knee-jerk reactions. It's not working. It never worked. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu standing guard. I'm going to watch tonight. And along comes the same old man with the same complaint, with no regard, and he starts taking. And Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu went and grabbed him. He said, I'm going to take you now to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he said, please leave me. I am very poor. I am extremely hungry, and I have hungry children waiting on me. How can you be so barbaric that you're going to deprive children from food? That you're going to let these kids cry all night? No. Abu Hurairah would be wrong to do so. So his action was to break the deed, which was the command of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and said, "Hey, go, don't come back. Off you go." The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the morning said to him, "Oh Abu Hurairah, what happened to your captive last night?" He said, "Ya Rasulullah, let me tell you. Let me explain my position. Remember, brothers and sisters, tomorrow those who feel that they were right on this earth will stand in front of Allah as the world burnt down through the flames of tyranny, and they will say, oh Allah, let me explain to you what I was doing. Allah does not need your explanation. He needed your submission. But we do not submit anymore because Allah's way is backwards. Allah's way is backward. My intellect tells me what is right and what is forward. So he said to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Na'udhu billah min dhalik." May Allah protect us from that thought. And that thought is dominating in the Muslim community today, that Allah is backwards. So what happened was, he said he was hungry, he was poor, he had children. Rasulullah said, he lied, and he'll be back again tonight. So this time, Abu Hurairah is pulling up his sleeves, like, you know what? No, not this time. This time, I'm not going to let this happen. If Rasulullah said he's coming, he's not going to get anything this time. So he came, casually strolling along, grabbing dates, sticking them in his clothes, and he's going, but no, we are now going to Rasulullah and he said to him, let me teach you something. Look, let's make this mutually beneficial. You love to learn. You love to learn your religion. You love to gain closeness to Allah. I'll give you that. Let me teach you something and let me go. I promise I'm not coming back after this. Fine. This is Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala, who used to be between the mimbar and the mihrab of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he would pass out in hunger. He wasn't poor. He wasn't unable. He was just desperate to learn from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He would be waiting in the masjid if my Habib, Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam comes and he says something, I want to learn it. So he stayed. So he wanted to learn. And this old man knew his weakness that he wanted to learn. So he said to him that when you go to sleep at night, read Ayatul Kursi, Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum ila akhiri. If you do this, Allah will appoint an angel over you as a protector, and no shaitan or devil can even come close to you till the morning. Here is a Sahabi who was told to do a deed, but he's doing an action, and this old man for whom he's doing this action of generosity and kindness and compassion is teaching him, go back to your deeds. Go back to what Allah is telling you. Why are you doing what I'm telling you? So in the morning, Rasulullah comes to him and says, what happened to your captive last night? He said, he taught me something. What did he teach you? He taught me that if I go to sleep and I recite Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum ila akhiri to the end, then no devil will touch me. So the Prophet Muhammad said, he told you the truth, but he's the great liar. Do you know who you were conversing with over the last 3 days? He said, no, it's an old man. He said, you are conversing with Shaitan himself. Shaitan told him that the power of deed is greater than the actions of the need in response to the problem that he saw. He failed 3 times because he was following his instincts and not the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He did what was logical. He did what was needed. His action was the right response to the situation itself, but it came in the exchange of a deed. And that, my friends, is where he failed. And he failed miserably. Today, our environment is being robbed. Humanity is being rounded up into camps. Bloodshed and war has become the norm. Our action is to protest, contest, cry foul, and challenge those committing such heinous acts. I ask of you, brothers and sisters, I ask our fellow activists, I ask you, for at one time in my life I was one, but I then turned to become an advocate for goodness. Because activism is a knee-jerk reaction, and I swear by Allah standing here today, it doesn't work. So I ask you, what have we got? What have we changed? We are living in a world where there are actions today more than ever, but there are deeds lesser than ever before. Understand a few things here, my fellow Muslims. Deeds have no external connection with the problem. It has a connection with the controller of all problems. In correlation with any situation, deeds never made sense in itself. If you look in the history of humanity through the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, the Old Testament, the New Testament, and the Last Testament, you will find that whenever there was a situation, the deed which was proposed as the solution didn't make no sense to the action itself. Musa alayhi salam and his people are on the verge of death. Allah commanded him to do a deed, hit the water. What does hitting the water have to do with saving yourself from the most tyrant person that walked this earth and claimed he was God? Nothing. What does it have to do with the controller of all affairs? Everything. Ibrahim alayhi salam was told to leave his family where no family could live. I don't care how religious anyone claims themselves to be. How she survived and how she endured the treacherous path of the valley of Bakka was through deeds, not through actions. They followed along with what Allah told them to do. They did what they were commanded to do. Their deed is giving life to the world today while abolishing the problems that confronted them forever. Makkah today, because of leaving his family there, is no longer a barren valley. It is the city that never sleeps. The Pharaoh and his tyranny is no more. No Pharaoh existed after Fir'aun. The Red Sea opened as a miracle for him and a punishment for his problem. And Makkah became the home of all the world's fruits and goodnesses because of a deed, not an action. A lot of action points and pieces of training are out there on what you need to do in our world today. Immigrants are being rounded up here in Texas in the south of our border. Children are being separated from their families. ICE might raid anyone in their home at any time. Action points. Do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. Who is training us on deeds? Who is training us and reminding us about deeds? Let us all train ourselves here and now to become ambassadors of deeds and the abolishers of actions. 5 mental points to train you about deeds. Number 1, deeds are not viral acts. Deeds don't trend. Actions trend. Number 2, you do it and then it makes sense, not vice versa. You don't do it because it's the right thing that makes sense to you. You do it and it doesn't make sense, but once it's done, it will make sense. Number 3, you need to believe in the process of Allah more than the outcome from it. Number 4, the struggle pays off forever. If you can become fixated and focused on your deed, then I promise you, you've helped yourself, you've helped your society, and you've helped humanity and the creation forever. And number 5, on our mental pointers on deed training. Deeds change the world, while the absence of deeds only plagues the world. I'm not saying it, Allah is saying it, and He said it in the Romans. As for action items to revive deeds, we used to learn from our elders that a person who missed prayers, the effect of it, उसकी जो नहूसत होती है, 40 घरों तक पहुंचती है. A person who misses one prayer, the negative impact of it affects 40 houses around them. So the first action item is, don't compromise the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you cannot stay steadfast on what Allah has commanded you to do, what makes you think that you're going to change the world? We need to stay steadfast on our deeds because that alone is a great protection, and the absence of it is exacerbating the problem. Number 2, whatever actions you do as a deed for the pleasure of Allah, whatever virtuous act you do for the sake of Allah, bring Allah into it before, during, and after. If you don't ask Allah before you sign your petition, if you don't say Bismillah while doing an act of virtue and a humanitarian need, and if you don't turn to Allah for His acceptance upon completing it, you didn't do anything but just make the problem worse. And the final action item is to do the following 3 things in order to bring goodness in our world, my fellow Muslims. If you're not doing these 3, you don't care about solving the problem. You don't. Number 1, you have to pray to Allah. Prayer means tahajjud. Yes, it's not Ramadan anymore. And yes, you don't have to wake up for suhoor anymore. And yes, Fajr finishes at 6:19, so I can wake up at 6:13 and pray. No, brothers and sisters. If you truly want something for yourself or for your world, you need to wake up in the night when everyone is sleeping and pray to Allah for it. I tell people you have no right to complain until or unless you make tahajjud for it, and you continue praying tahajjud for it, and now it's become a problem. You can maybe complain to Allah. But don't complain when you're not ready to get your head off your Tempur-Pedic. Pray. Number 2, fast. The ummah in the past, whatever problems they face, read your history. The women and the men, the elders and the children used to fast. And fasting in itself pulled the help of Allah and made change on this earth. And last but not least, give sadaqah. We learned that the action of sin that led to the deed of tawbah solidified forgiveness for Adam and Hawa alayhim as-salam and became the main feature of Hajj till the end of time. The deed of sacrificing the son became the practice of the Eid. It is the season of world-changing deeds in a world of plaguing actions. As our Hujjaj begin to arrive in Makkah and Medina to bring forth decisions for humanity, which one will gain the upper hand? Only time will tell. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide our path. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا أما بعد. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, recapping once more, our world is a mess. A lot is being done to mess it up and also to fix it up. We are trying, but without the doer and the controller of all affairs. We must therefore resort to deeds and do with Allah and through Allah. We need to do with Allah and through Allah. All I'm saying today, brothers and sisters, if you didn't understand anything, take this home. Bring Allah back into the equation. Do it for Him as He wants, not as you feel. It was prophesied. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam already told us that this ummah, this nation, will be plagued with problems. Not just one problem. All the problems that were afflicted on all the nations before us will all be combined in this one nation of ours. It's been prophesied. But it was also promised that we will be the nation with prophetic perks. We are a nation that Allah will do for you, not your scholar, your teacher, your Imam. He will do for you what He did for the prophets. One of the many is what Rasulullah said to Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala, and it's recorded in the Quran, Inna Allaha ma'ana. Allah, O Abu Bakr, is with all of us. That Allah that was there for the prophets, and because of the prophets their nations gained salvation. As Musa alayhi salam said, Inna ma'iya Rabbi, Allah is with me, He will guide me, and because of me you guys will get through. Allah's Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is telling us, Inna Allaha ma'ana, Allah is with all of us. Why are we not taking Allah along in this journey? So on this Independence Day weekend, while the love for our nation is being expressed in many ways. Let us revive the deed of loving our land and loyalty to it by doing the deeds which are needed at this time to restore goodness for all its people. If you want to feed, but feed in the name of Allah. Feed for Allah, and then thank Allah for the opportunity to feed. If you want to give comfort, give comfort, as long as it's virtuous. It is not breaking the law. Do what is good, but do it with Allah, through Allah, for Allah. Follow the training, the 5 mental steps and the 3 physical steps. And remember, whenever our world faced problems, it was these 3 steps, prayer, fasting, and charity, that brought us back from the brink of disaster. Actions tend to lead to conflicts. Deeds have a history of solving them. Actions are a knee-jerk reaction to a situation. Deeds are far-out planning that will prevent future situations. Deeds are done for Allah. Actions are done just for the sake of it. We need to become God-centric again. We need to become Allah-centric again. We need to become divinely guided and not emotionally guided. As we conclude, I call on all of you, your spouses, your children, to a deed for Allah that will help in restoring this goodness on this earth. Insha'Allah, tonight at 7 o'clock we have our family night. What is the purpose of this action, this deed? To come to the house of Allah, to get to know one another. There will be multiple vendors here tonight. Come and buy food and have food with your families and have food with new friends. Pray in the house of Allah, Maghrib at 8:40, and listen to a 5-minute khatirah, followed by an introduction from a new member in our community. This is a deed that we will do insha'Allah, so that our life can be deed-centric and not action-centric. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send salutations and blessings upon Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who showed us the solution to all our problems, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala al-nabi يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد عبدك ورسولك النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا اللهم إنا نسألك من الخير كله عاجله وآجله ما علمنا منه وما لم نعلم ونعوذ بك اللهم من الشر كله عاجله وآجله ما علمنا منه وما لم نعلم اللهم ارزقنا حبك وحب من يحبك وحب عمل الذي يقربنا حبك اللهم اجعل حبك أحب الأشياء إلينا واجعل خشيتك أخوف الأشياء عندنا اللهم اشف مرضانا وعاف مبتلانا وارحم موتانا يا رب العالمين اللهم اغفر للحاج ولمن استغفر له الحاج اللهم اجعل حجهم حجا مبرورا وعملا مقبولا وسعيا مشكورا وتجارة لن تبور آمين يا رب العالمين آمين يا رب العالمين آمين يا رب العالمين إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون فاذكروا الله يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. Please ensure that our lines are straight, stand shoulder to shoulder. The edge of our heel should be on the back edge of the line.